I am excited today. We get to
You
have a
are.
little bit of fun. In fact, we're both excited. Graham is feeling like $1,000,000. He's gotten some rest. I'm feeling like $1,000,000. I had a good nap today, which was kind of good. Had a day of no riding, so that's kind of good. I usually take at least one day off a week, and today was that day. But I'm excited because we're going to jump in and talk about a really cool adventure. I was trying to go on it. I was trying to work some magic, but I wasn't able to do it. But Graham, you just recently did a little bit of an adventure around the largest lake, one of the largest lakes. We're talking about lakes. It's one of the largest. Definitely the
Yes,
largest one in Florida, but I mean it's a famous lake, but Lake Okeechobee. Lake Okeechobee.
it is. It's huge. It's not deep though. Not a lot. It's
Yeah.
wide, but not deep. It's like 9 feet deep.
But it's
But
deep.
yeah,
It's
it's
it's deep
huge.
enough to where you wouldn't want to try to swim across this thing.
Don't do
Yeah, don't
that.
do that. You can't see because you would just
There's
get
so many
disoriented.
alligators. I
Don't
know
swim
a
across.
guy though. If you've
Yeah,
ever listened to the Florida Uncut podcast, Mason Gravely, he paddleboarded across the lake from the Kissimmee River to Clewiston.
you better have a compass, man, or
I
because
don't
you
know.
can't see the other side.
Oh, you can't. No, it's an ocean. No, he's crazy.
Oh my goodness, man.
People actually like came up to him in boats, like, "Hey, where are you going? You okay?"
Right? Yeah, man. As they should. I mean, we're used to Florida, man, but that's kind of crazy.
He's a good dude.
That's crazy. So you had this adventure, and there was three of you, and you were going to
Hmm.
do this. We're going to get into that. And again, it's kind of dissecting the adventure that you can go watch, which I love watching these, by the way, when I'm doing indoor training. So if I'm indoor, I love watching these because even though I can't go out there, I can watch it. And these are people I know. This is a place I live in. So I enjoy watching the videos. Um, the first question I have is, okay, so you're going to go around Lake Okeechobee. So the very first thing that came to my mind, even when you were proposing this idea, was, okay, are we going clockwise or counterclockwise? And that was a question for me. And so counterclockwise is the way you went. And then that kind of dives into another question because some people get offended at that term. I don't know if you know this. Some people call it
Australians?
anti-clockwise. Yeah. So is it anti-clockwise, counterclockwise? And so I just want to know, like, did that ever cross your mind? You're probably like, no, sure didn't.
No, it was more logistics because I knew we were going to do it in 2 days. Like it's 120 miles basically with all the stops and going over bridges. And I knew in my mind I didn't want to drive down there that morning, ride 120 miles, and drive home. It's 3 plus 4 hours from Gainesville. And so I came up with this plan like, okay, we're going to drive down that morning, park, and ride half of it basically, and then ride the second half the next day, and then get back to our cars and still have enough energy to drive home, right?
Right.
So I was looking at like the best place to stop, and I came up with this Roland Martin Marina, and I figured it'd be good to get a longer day on the first day, and so we ended up with 65 the first day, which is a little longer than the second day. And so that was the best way to do that, was to go that direction. Just, it was based mostly on math. I didn't care which way I went. It ended up being the best way because of the wind too, by the way.
Yeah. I saw the win. That was
Dude,
anti-fun. You can say anti-fun,
it was
counter
so
fun.
fun. It was blowing right behind us for most of the day.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
nuts.
And that's
It was
probably the
like,
reason why you chose that way. It made sense for you.
yeah, I guess either way we would have had a south wind, but it
Yeah.
was fantastic, like going 20 plus miles an hour and barely pedaling. And
Yeah.
I was under strict orders, like zone one, zone two, because of my surgery on my
Yeah.
mouth. So I wasn't
Yeah.
even allowed to go that hard anyways. So it was nice to
Wow.
go that fast without
So
trying.
so you mentioned something here, and I think there's a slight correction, Graham. I have to call it out because I think the audience would want to know this. But you called this place simply a marina, and it's not that. This is a resort, bro. I mean, this is a resort.
Yeah, oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's a resort,
It's a
right?
resort.
Because I remember
It has
you're
condos. It
yeah, you're
has
on the Rim Canal, so you're on the pathway. You got the Canal down there, and then just you can see it. You're like, man, that looks pretty amazing. So
perfect. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was like it's a bass fishing resort. I mean, it was full of boats and dudes that loved to, I guess, you fish in Lake Okeechobee. I don't know if you'd want to eat anything out of the lake, but
I have thoughts on
people,
that.
it's definitely, they have a bunch of guides established there. They've got this really cool bait house that I snuck into that morning really early. The
Yeah.
shiners jumping around is really cool, but it is full on fishing resort marina. It's like bass heaven for these guys.
Yeah, did you tell those the bait house like, hey, you guys have a future. It's not very good, but you have a
No.
little bit of a future ahead of you.
Bike, you
Yes,
might get off the hook.
you
Sometimes you get off the
might
hook.
get off the hook,
Those
but even
shiners are
then, you're
still
probably
going
not
to be
going to
beaten.
live. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna not make it very far. But that was a cool little spot. So okay, so you guys did so first day. Obviously, you had the tailwind, which was
Hmm.
great, and
Yes.
you chose correctly. Well, I guess you're at the top. You're on the north side of the lake, so either way you would have went, it would have been good. You had a little bit of a tailwind, but here's what's unique. And again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it because you'll kind of understand this perspective. But you're kind of up. I mean, you're up on the road for the most part, mostly paved. Obviously, there's some gravel sectors, if we want to impress our European friends.
Yes.
So we've got some sectors there of gravel, but you're up. And so what I notice, and I'm used to it, but if you're not from Florida, if you've never been here, you'll notice like there's no protection. There are no trees. There's not even a stick really out there to keep, like if you get the storm or whatever, right? It's just kind of wide open. So talk
Yeah.
to us. I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing and different from like a traditional gravel route, where you're growing
Hmm.
along and you've got different turns, you got a lot of things you're looking at. Here, the beauty is in something else. It's that nice big lake sitting right next to you.
Yeah, and anybody who's done it, because this is an established route now, that has said like be prepared for the conditions. You will feel the wind, and you better have some sunblock. And
Yeah.
they're right. I mean, you've got to be prepared. We're lucky the wind was blowing like it was because you're 100% exposed and you're high up, not only on the lake, but you're high up and very vulnerable to the wind. And you always hear that. It's really interesting. It's windy. You always hear it's windy, and it is 100% that. And I put sunblock on my face. I forgot my arms. I roasted my stupid
Yeah.
arms. I mean, I still got, you know,
Got the
I mean,
mark.
we get the cycling tan,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it
you
was
got an abnormal cycling tan, and I'm going to say I think I recall in the video that your feet, because you wear sandals, your feet. I don't. We don't need to see your feet, but I'm just saying like
no, I'm
they
not putting them on camera.
they got some sun, right?
I have the old man sandal foot tan. I'm so disappointing. My wife noticed it. She's like, you
May,
got the squares on your feet.
yeah.
And I get really brown. And so just like these brown squares on my feet, it looks
Hmm.
ridiculous. But I
That's
don't know. It's comfortable.
it's a badge of honor, I think, especially if you got teenage kids, daughters especially. That's a badge of honor.
I'm gonna
Go
make
cruising
sandals
around.
cool. That's what
Making
it's.
sandals cool again.
I am.
That's the next thing we're doing, right?
Yeah,
So
for
we're talking
sure.
like so for those of you who don't know Lake Okeechobee, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But the word Okeechobee in the when you kind of go back and look at the name and kind of where it came from, the Seminole, it means big water, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's 9 feet deep. It's 730 square miles. I mean, that's a big lake. And I mean, it's pretty amazing. And just for those who don't know, like the purpose of this lake is a couple of things. I mean, it receives stormwater runoff from just south of Orlando, all the way in. So a large part of the state of Florida is impacted in some way by this lake. I mean, it's a big deal here in Florida. And one of the things you got to know is, you're thinking lake, but here in Florida, we've got both freshwater and saltwater. And so every couple of years, usually 4 or 5 years, from my understanding, and I've seen this, they'll discharge from this lake to kind of flush it out a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that gets run off in there, a lot of agriculture and things like that. So that's why you wouldn't want to eat. I think some things you catch out there that I think I probably wouldn't do that. But I know, like even when I was living down in South Florida, like when they would do this flushing in this big slug of fresh water that had some pollutants from agriculture and other things, and it would hit the salt wedge and hit kind of the real great fishing areas that we have, like in the inlets and all that, it would just cause mass chaos and destruction. And so this lake is pretty amazing in what it does and what it's supposed to do. I mean, it was put there by the Corps to kind of help mitigate against flooding after hurricanes. And now, over the years, it's been retrofitted down south to help treat some of that stormwater, these stormwater treatment areas and all that. But now, like what you got to experience, there's trails on it, and it's kind of recreational, which is really cool. And it's a neat little thing. And so the lake itself, I mean, there's a lot of economic tie-in, community tie-in, tie-in, and so it's a pretty neat little thing. And so you got to see some of that, obviously cruising around. What were some of the highlights day one on some of the things you saw, some of the things you got to see, some stores, people you met? Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Well, and it is amazing like how tall, this was the second version of the levees. The original version back in the 20s were built and they thought they were high enough. And then there was a hurricane in 1928 that came up like from like around the West Palm Beach area and came right up through Belglade and up the state and ended up going up the coast, one of the strongest
Mm,
hurricanes to ever hit Florida, and completely wiped out Belglade. Not the
mm,
wind, but the water from the
wow.
lake got pushed over what they thought were levees that could hold it and completely submerged Belglade. Everything was gone. Thousands of people died, people missing. Some interesting stories about what happened there, but these were people new to Florida, progressive people looking for a new life, the rich soil. You could grow anything in that area because there's been so much flooding and for centuries, just so much water receding and flowing that the soil can grow anything. It's so rich. They were growing everything. And these people had moved there to start a new life and they got completely submerged by that 1928 hurricane. And so eventually they came back and built these levees. And the Army Corps of Engineers came in and did this. And now there's pump stations and canals. And, it's definitely interfered with the flow of water from the Kissimmee River, which comes from Orlando all the way down the middle of the state into the Everglades. And then into the Everglades, all of that stuff's been erupted. If you look at the natural flow of what it used to be, what it is now, it's very different. They're trying to fix some of that. They've restored part of the Kissimmee River over the past 20 years, and it's no longer just a straight dumb canal that Army Corps of Engineers thought was a good idea. It turns out it wasn't, for all of the obvious reasons for the environment and for animals and for the health of our environment. So they're brought a lot of that back. But Lake Okeechobee still, I don't know what you do. I mean, the levees are huge. They're there and they're not going anywhere. So they tried to do the right thing, I guess. They're trying to restore some flow into the Everglades, but we're kind of stuck and man controlling nature, and we've suffered. And that's what those when those releases of water happen, they can go. There's canals, and we went over both those canals that go either the Atlantic or the Gulf. When they dump water out of the lake, when we're having hurricane issues and water flow abundance, they can't have Belglade submerged again. So they dump water into the ocean. And, it's like that's the option. They have to save, lives and land and things like that. So you end up with those ugly plumes. But it was a wondrous experience. That aside, I'm born and raised in Florida, so I wish you wish the best for the state. I do because of how much I enjoy living here. But it was pretty phenomenal being up on those levees and riding around the lake and just going up. And you could see forever. And I'd say it's about 50-50 paved and gravel. I wasn't sure how much was paved. I've heard they paved a lot more, but it's still quite a bit of gravel. At first, I thought maybe you could ride a road bike around that thing. I wouldn't. I think there's sections of it that are just too chunky. They would be uncomfortable. You can get away with it, but I think you're gonna have a better experience on something that's got a little bit more width to the tire, a little bit more cush for the bounciness. A lot of the gravel is really smooth. Day one gravel was really smooth and nice, but it was got it was the best part. Best part of the whole thing is the fact that exposure to cars is like 1%.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
that's
have to get
great.
off the road, get off and go on the road, go over a canal. There's a couple, and I tried to highlight that in the video. Went over that huge bridge over the St. Lucie Canal. That's got a huge bike lane. So there's those places, but the rest of it, you're just cruising with your buds around the lake. It was awesome. We had a great time. Absolute great time hanging with Sydney and Mike. They're the best.
Yeah, that looked like it was a good thing. I was going to ask about, what bike selection because, yeah, you can kind of take road bikes off, off pavement. But yeah, I would agree. Kind of looking at what you guys are going at, and that assessment is accurate. Like that, this isn't the place for that. You may
No.
be very unhappy with that choice.
Yeah, I'm on my old Mood cyclocross bike, 34 millimeter tires, and I mean I could use a wider tire, maybe a little bit on that second day, but that worked pretty good. Something that's got the ability to lower the pressure a bit, and have a little more width to the tire. I think you'd be all right.
Yeah.
You get through it.
Yeah, it looked like a cool little thing. So for those, again, if you've not seen this loop, go check it out. Check out the video, you'll kind of see that. But I want to point out something that may be interesting because we're talking about riding around the lake, but there is, in fact, day two, a section where you're not next to the lake. You're kind of out on the western side. And a little bit of a buffer there where it's not much water at all. You're kind of like cruising next to a road. So what was that section like? And I know it wasn't like super long, but it was definitely part of the second day adventure, it looked like.
Yeah, that sort of southwest side, it's more like marshland. There's not the lake right there. It's wetlands. I mean, it's not dry, and that's we saw a ton of alligators there. Beautiful, like definitely a different experience in day one. But you're along sort of that wetland section for a good bit, and they did build a new paved path along that section of the road that you used to have to ride on the road, which is nice. And they've built some more pedestrian bridges too. I saw a couple on that side, but it's all very rideable now, thankfully. Even though you're not on the lake for all of it, you're on the levee for all of it. The levee goes, continuously around the lake, and then the path, pretty much all of it is all on levee.
Yeah, and it's got a name, right? It's the acronym is LOST.
Lost, yeah,
So
it's perfect. I
yeah,
love it.
so it's Lake, is it Lake Okeechobee Scenic Trail? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
the lost. So you can go get lost.
Go get lost.
Go take a
Get
loop
lost
on lost.
certified.
Get lost certified. Go do this. So yeah, and what I would say is that I think it's, when you kind of look at adventures, you look at things like this. This is kind of like real high, I think, on the fun level. I mean, it's not going to be crazy challenging. There's no single track. There's no water crossings.
No,
Use the bridges, use the
yeah,
bike lanes. So it's fun and it's real accessible. And there's towns. So like if you need something, you could just pop off and get whatever you need, which looks really, really neat. Now, day two was kind of interesting because you guys got up early. And of course, that's where you can kind of see you can see where you can go get the fish and all that. And fishermen were up. But you kind of, use that as an opportunity to get started a little bit earlier, and you got some sunrise,
yeah,
some helicopter work there. So, your helicopters made the trip with you, which was kind of cool to be able
yes.
to see that. So day two, it looked like it was just as enjoyable as day one. Maybe the wind, got to contend with that a little bit, but
Yeah, a little bit of headwind coming back. It wasn't as strong as the first day. It was early, so it wasn't as bad. What's nice too is about that marina is because it's a fishing, resort marina. What's nice is that it is a fishing resort, and people get up early to fish. So the breakfast place was open at 5:30. We were there at 5:30. I
wow,
love these guys. They'll get up early with me, and had some pancakes.
nice.
Totally more pancakes. It were really good.
Yeah,
4.5 stars for pancakes at Roland Martin Marina. They were delicious, fresh made.
resort. This resort pancakes is different.
And whatever, we're not roughing it. I get it. But yeah, we got up, and I definitely wanted some sunrise shots with the drone. It's so funny. I have this fanny pack now that I carry two drones in the controller, in it. Yeah, around my waist. It's perfect. So it kind of rests on the seat, so it's not always dragging down. But it perfectly fits two drones, my controller, and a couple snacks and stuff in it. So yeah, it works pretty well to be able to stop and quickly get that. The main slowdown point is getting this stuff set up and getting it in the air. And those
Yeah.
guys are good sports about it. And I always tell anybody it's like doing one of these trips with me ahead of time. Like, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to stop and do these things. I'll try not to do it too much. Um,
Yeah. And they're better
Probably,
friends. They probably wait on you because you have friends who don't wait on you. I know.
oh, I do. Oh, someone
Yeah.
will be like, see you later. Yeah.
Yeah. Peace,
Yeah.
brother. We'll see you tonight.
But thankfully, like a trip like this is so easy. Like, it's so mellow. It's like technically, not challenging. The route's not challenging. It's just there. You go around the lake. The hardest part is knowing where to get off to get around on the bridges. The route's out there. It's well established. It's well traveled. It's so easy. So fun. Like, I do it with friends. 2 days is perfect, just to chill and ride around the lake.
So would you say, because I know you like cars and you like to race cars. I mean, this is kind of like NASCAR, right? You're making a turn. You're just right.
Turning right, going
Or
opposite
making
though.
right. Yeah, I know it's going opposite, but it's like you're going one. That's kind of what you're doing.
Yeah, I should have been going left. I should be
Yeah, I
turning
know.
left like you
I
do at
was I
Daytona.
was gonna ask that, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe there was a reason.
I was uncomfortable. Yeah, going right
Yeah.
was weird.
So I wanted to talk to you because I want to introduce a kind of new segment into what we talk about sometimes. And this segment is near and dear to our heart, especially after the last couple of rides that I've seen. But this is the rooster segment, the Florida rooster segment, which is different than any other rooster because the Florida roosters get up early. Now,
Yeah.
I don't think that I saw or heard roosters on this particular trip. Is that correct? Like this has a 0 out of 5 rooster rating.
Yeah, zero. No, it was
Okay.
rooster free. I think
Rooster
the
free.
alligators ate them all.
Yeah.
There were
Okay.
so
Well,
many
that makes
alligators.
it.
There's no roosters in the lake.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. But I do know because I want to tie in your pancakes there. But there's another place in Florida in a recent trip that you did that had blueberry pancakes, right?
Wellburn.
Wellburn,
Yeah.
blueberry, and but they had the rooster going on. They had some of those guys.
Oh, it sounded just, it was so loud and it was echoing like they were surrounding me. I
Mm,
pulled up to do this ride and it was dark still, and you could hear them echoing in the darkness from all directions. It
that
was
is
spooky.
nuts. You know what I'm gonna get you? I'm gonna get you, you know, like the old paintings or the whatever the print, it shows like the dogs playing poker or whatever.
Mm,
I want to get a roosters playing poker, and that's gonna be like behind you. And that the
yeah,
Florida
I'm not
roosters.
the rooster guy, Billy. I'm not.
But you are, they follow you.
I don't know.
They go to the campouts.
I am seriously gonna. I'm gonna get a rooster and drop him in your backyard.
I'm just my thing is I want to see you get a pet rooster. We'll give it a name.
Pet,
We'll get a pet rooster, and I want to see a rooster make a trip with you. That's what I think we need to see at some point in the
like a
future.
dog, like get the pull cart, put a
Yeah,
rooster in it,
yeah, exactly, man. That's going to generate some
or you know
conversation.
they have the backpacks. You know, like with Alexi or
Yeah.
Marilyn has that backpack with the dog in the back. You know, and
Yes.
everybody's so cute, and I'll be doing it with my rooster,
Yes.
not as cute.
100%. Yeah, I can imagine this thing, and it's almost like your job is to on these bike packing trips is to wake everyone up at 3 a.m. And you have the perfect way to do it. It's the natural way to do it.
Put him on a leash. Do you leash the rooster?
I don't know.
Will he run away?
I'm going to say no, you don't.
Yeah,
No, I don't know. Yeah, don't get a rooster, but it would be kind of funny. But yeah, I noticed that no roosters, and you're right. I think if there were, the gators would have a field day. They kind of alert the gators to where they're at, I guess. Perhaps I'm not sure.
yeah. Well, there. I guess it's just in that north central part of Florida. Just roosters everywhere. I
That's where
mean,
they go to. It's like the villages for roosters. That's where they go to retire.
just like you're out in the country, man. I guess it's just people in the country have roosters so they can have
Oh
eggs,
man.
and you know,
No,
chickens have eggs, and I
so
don't know how. You know,
growing up in Texas, I always said there was a few things that I was going to do when I got to like retirement age. One was I wanted to get um, a truck and like a large trailer, and I wanted to drive around during like 7 to 8 in the morning when traffic's happening, and then in the afternoon, evening when traffic was happening, and drive about 15 under a speed limit on these single lane roads. The other thing I wanted to do is get a whole bunch of chickens and roosters just to be that guy.
well, you're there. You got chickens.
Yeah, we don't have a rooster though. We can't do that.
You're
I'm not.
gonna. He's
We're
gonna
not gonna have
show up in your backyard.
no roosters. Nope.
I'm
I'll
totally
introduce him
dumping a
to
rooster in your yard.
We'll put him in the wetlands. But here's your home. There's a bobcat. He shows up about once a month, but just generally
Ugh.
go hide in a tree, I guess. I'm not sure what to tell you. So words of encouragement, wisdom. I know this isn't like you said, it's not super challenging, but it's a rewarding route, I believe, because I mean to go around Lake Okeechobee, what was the total distance in miles?
119 miles. We started at Publix up the road. I didn't want to park on the lake in like a random parking lot. I didn't know how safe that is. Publix seems safer, so we parked at Publix like 3/4 of a mile down the road,
Right.
and just rode a sidewalk up to the starting point and hit mile zero. So the loop itself, like they say, it's like 115. We did a couple of side trips, and so I would say between 115 and 120, depending
Yeah.
on where you go.
And I was shocked, I'm going to say, because I always expect, especially when I do these trips or if I do them with you, like there's going to be donuts involved, but you got like a smoothie? I mean, you stop at a smoothie shop, you kind of
Yeah, well,
what's happening? What happened here?
I had two teeth extracted, like less than a week before this ride, and my mouth, like my face was swollen, and it's like
Mm,
back here, and it just hurt. Like I was eating so much ice cream, I was miserable, I wasn't sleeping. So yeah, I was. It was a. That's what
smoothie.
I'm where I'm at. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of it, but I mean, even this ride was even a bad idea. I mean, it took a lot of editing to edit out my lack of like making sense sometimes because my sleep was so bad, and
Mm,
I was on antibiotics plus, I didn't take any painkillers because I just can't
yeah.
function with that stuff. I was taking like 1 million milligrams of ibuprofen to make it through.
Yeah.
So yeah, smoothie. I mean, of course, what is
Man,
this?
there it is.
Oh yeah, I
Sponsored
got fun
by.
size. Look at this. I found these. So, I'm
Dude,
not,
that'll fit right back in your back pocket.
these are perfect size. Yeah, my daughter loves them. So they're in my house.
That's genius. Instead of the pet rooster, I figured out what I'm gonna go look on Amazon, not right now, but I'm gonna find like a little squeaky rooster that can go on the front of your bike. That's what I'm going to do. And maybe it can crow. I'm sure I can find something. Maybe somebody could drop a link and let us know, but where we can find that. But I think that would be the thing I'd want to put on your bike, so that way you
Uh,
can call back to them. You could be part of. You can commune with them.
did you
I don't know.
hear Mike's phone when we were checking into our resort?
No,
His ringtone is a freaking rooster. I was like, where is that coming from? He's laughing. He's like, did you do that for me?
that's
He's
great.
messing with me. Yeah.
I love it.
It was. You heard that, right? I'm like,
Yeah,
where's that?
yeah. That's
What the
amazing.
heck? Oh,
So maybe we can give it
that
like a
resort is
half
so
a star.
funny.
It's a half a star. It was a phantom rooster.
It was
It was
so
an AI
funny.
rooster.
Hey, by the way, I mean, there's a lot of places to stay in Clewiston. There's a couple hotels. I mean, there's a Holiday Inn, there's a Hampton, but this place is way better. Problem is, you can't book online, and
What?
they're busy. Like they get full. No, yeah, yeah, you got to call them.
You got to
Like they
call, like
have,
pick up that rules
yeah,
out like half the
yeah.
people on the planet here. They're not going to call.
I know, and they're busy.
Wow.
I mean, I got like barely got all three of us a room. You can get a condo too, but yeah, you got to call them, and they are full. That place is
Wow.
and they got a sweet tiki bar with burgers and stuff right on the lake, and the breakfast was amazing. With I mean, fresh cooked pancakes and eggs. It was the best.
Wow, that
It's
sounds
better
so
than a
good.
Hampton Inn breakfast bar, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
And I'm just glad to see you weren't in the back of any sort of, patrol vehicle. You didn't have
No,
to call Dino. There wasn't a Dino moment, which by the way, that's Uber. That's just going to translate that for you. That's on the other videos.
yeah, no problems. It was
That's
smooth,
good. Well,
and
so
I
what
was
would you say now we'll kind of wrap things up here, but what would you say now? Like this is a great little trip, but even if you're a couple hours drive, I mean, it's an achievable trip, especially if you break it up into 2 days.
yeah,
And it's, bring a friend or two. It sounds like it'd be a great little trip and approachable by a lot of different people. And so how would you encourage someone again, I think to get off the couch? The weather's still good in Florida. I'm gonna just give it like
yeah.
another month or so, month and a half. It'll start heating up. I get it.
Oh
But
yeah, do it soon
now's the
because
time.
it is
Yeah.
it's so exposed. I wouldn't do it in the summer unless you're doing like really early and doing like or middle of the night. But that's why I
Yeah.
really wanted to get it done. Yeah, I mean, I people want to go do it and do it one day, and 115 miles in one day. Kind of you kind of got to keep moving, right? I mean,
Hmm.
it's going to take on that route. That is going to take 7 hours, six
Yeah.
hours, or 7 hours if you're really fast. Most normal people 8 to 10 hours. At some point, you're not enjoying it as much. I suggest breaking it up in 2 days and take little side trips and give yourself a break. I've had a couple of people ask me already about that. And I was like, listen, yeah, I mean, I guess you can go like get a group and hammer out the miles
Right.
and get it done. But why not like slow down and enjoy it? Go into these little towns, Pahokee and Belglade, and all these little Florida towns I always heard of because there's all these famous football players come out of those towns.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening down there,
It's the
but
water.
Belglade and Pahokee, they're full. I mean, there's a long list of football players that have come out of that southern Florida area that are big time. It's really neat, but cool. I just always want to experience those places. And you see the agriculture, you can see for miles, it's so flat. It's such a unique view, there's not many places this flat.
Right. Right.
My next trip, I want to go down into the Everglades. I really want to get down further south on my bike, and the Florida Divide takes you down there, and there's ways to
Wait, did you just
ride them.
commit to the Florida Divide?
Yeah, that's something I want to do, but
You just
I
committed
know.
to that next year?
I don't know. I mean, I need to get 10 days. I don't know. Mike, who was with us, just did it this year and
Yeah.
had the best time. And yeah, it's a serious ride, but it takes you straight into the Everglades. You go around Okeechobee. If you check Single Track Samurai, you can buy that and do the route anytime. But they have Mike did the group depart in March and did it. It's so cool, man. That's a neat route. I'm excited. I'll do it one day. I don't know when I'll get the time, but it's gonna happen for sure. That's why I
It
bought
looks like
this bike over here.
yeah.
That's what it's for.
It looks like a fun little route, that's for sure. I keep seeing it,
You're gonna
that's
do
a
it,
it's a
right?
bucket listing. Yeah, definitely.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Come
10
on.
days? I mean, why not?
We got the gear now and all the stuff and
I'm going to show you that you only need really two sets of bibs. I mean, you could do it. You just got to, do
yeah,
some washing, and there might be a hotel or two because you're going to have to
maybe.
you
It's
don't want
okay.
to just
No
be out in the
judge.
tents and all this place. But
No judge here.
sometimes, yeah. So you didn't get a patch, but if you did, man, it'd be a cool looking patch. I think the Lost patch.
I'm gonna make one
You're gonna make one.
for my buddies, Sydney and
Yeah,
Mike,
y'all need to
two
make one.
faithful. I mean, at some point, because Sydney is like, he's a monster. Like
Yeah.
he's
Well, I
having to
saw
slow
you
down.
cheating and holding onto his bike when he didn't know.
He was a hammer along, and he just doesn't know how strong he is. He's such an athlete. He's in a crazy good. I mean, he's just one of these people who's just got a gift, and he's just. I mean, he works hard. It's not like he doesn't do it. But at one point, I'm not supposed to be going that fast because I'm supposed to be healing. I just grab onto his rack. He had no idea. And I was holding on for a while, and you saw a little bit of that on the video.
Yeah.
And at some point, he's like, "Yeah, I was wondering why I went up over 300 watts. I don't know. I just kept going." He was
Keep on
wondering. It
going.
didn't bother him, and I'm just sitting there, just holding on to, and just coasting along. And he pulled me quite a bit. He's so
Dang.
gracious. He doesn't,
Yeah.
I have zero ego. I don't mind sitting in his draft and letting him pull me. Me and Mike just at some point we was like, "Hey, Sydney, can you slow it down a little?"
Dude, that's also diesel engine, man. You got
Yeah, you'd
sometimes
like that,
it's good to
bro. Come
find
on,
some people like a diesel engine. So sit on their wheels.
that's you, Billy. You're the
Yeah.
diesel,
Flat.
right?
Flat is my thing. I enjoy flat. It's like going
Yeah.
uphill. You don't ever get a rest. It's just you just keep doing your thing. It's
Eesh.
all good. Well, Graham, man, appreciate you taking time to talk through this. And again, if you haven't seen this video, I think you should go check it out because I think it would inspire you because you may not be next to Lake Okeechobee, but certainly you've got some sort of body water. You got some mountain. You got something you can cruise around and have an adventure, man. Take a video and just enjoy it and enjoy it with some friends. So until next time, until we can do another rooster rated ride,
5 stars.
have a great time. And Graham, thanks again for being here. You guys have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, Billy.